Globally, violence against women and girls still remains one of the most prevalent human rights violations today. And even though here in South Africa we have progressive laws put in place to combat the violence on a foundational level, support structure, awareness, and education still remain significant obstacles to overcome. In this episode, we take a look at how a global entity is driving local progress and the important role of international funding, ensuring that their work is possible.
The most common challenges that the young women faced, especially here in the community, in the township communities, it's poverty, unemployment, and rape. It's also one of them, and the lack of support from their families, and it make for them very hard to report these cases due to the lack of support system back at home. They don't have that relationship.
As we're dealing with this gender-based violence issue that's happening in the country, and it's almost like a stronghold, so we have to break that. The most important thing that is missing here is creating awareness around their rights and then what to do if something goes wrong.
A lack of access and awareness is a deep-seated issue in these local communities, but it is also multidimensional. According to a report submitted by United Nations, less than 40% of women who experience violence seek help of any kind, and those that do only turn to family and friends. The reality is many survivors are prevented from leaving violent relationships due to feelings of shame, guilt, a lack of safe housing, economic dependency, and fear.
Women and girls in South Africa live with a daily threat of violence. There is evidence that 26% of women in this country report intimate partner violence in their lifetimes. Research that was done recently by Sonke Gender Justice in the Diepsloot informal settlement actually indicates that 62% of the men in that township report that they have violated a woman at least once during the course of the year. So it is pervasive.
This is where entities like the UN Women, an international agency established in 2010 as a global champion for women and girls, is working to make a difference on the ground. Through creating strategic partnerships with civil society organizations and grassroots groups, the UN Women use bilateral donor funding. In this case, from international partners like the Japanese government, to further the cause for women and girls on the ground.
We were so privileged and honored to have the Japanese government working with us from across Africa, committing to providing resources to UN Women for COVID-19 responses towards women's equality and gender equality and women's empowerment. That money was directed to us, $200,000 was directed to South Africa's UN Women office. And with that, we were able to structure it around the most important areas of support. The one really is being able to ensure that those most vulnerable young women living with HIV and those who are vulnerable to violence against women, who are living in sort of precarious context, that was one that we wanted to focus on.
We have been focusing on community dialogues, especially the issue of behavioral change when it comes to issues of HIV and AIDS is concerned, and then on the other hand, issues of access to justice for rape survivors. Gender-based violence was on the increase in the former settlements. The number of women who were being killed was on the increase. This was broadly, in our reading, was due to the issue of anxiety, frustrations amongst people, and which then led to these ills which I shared with you earlier on.
We need more people that will be out there that can give these young girls advice. I'm talking to many of the young girls that Young Women for Life are supporting. I'm talking to them about gender-based violence, what their rights are and how they can address certain issues around it. And I inform them that all of those comments that they've made and issues that they've raised are before Parliament right now. And I think it's important for everyone to know their legal rights, specifically here where there's this ongoing cycle of violence that's taking place.
We are very involved with access to justice, because we're at court, we call newspapers, we're on radio. We want people to know about how the delays in courts to bring justice to these young women, like especially those who are raped, around rape cases especially, because we work with a lot of young women who have been raped.
We are very grateful as the Catholic Bishops Conference for the financial support which we have received from the UN Women, being supported in this particular case by the Embassy of Japan, to be able to make some impactful change in the communities we're working in, because we are operating in spaces where there is nothing. We are operating in spaces where in most cases the people there, they've lost hope. And as a church, working with the UN Women, working with other partners in this regard, it is our duty to restore hope, to bring that voice to people who have been voiceless. So we are very grateful for this funding, and we appeal for more funding to be able for us to bring that desired change in the communities.
These are just some of the many stories that the UN Women help bring to mainstream attention, and a fraction of the important work that they do to help accelerate gender equality for women and girls globally. If you would like to learn more, please visit their website and get involved in any way you can.